little girl discovered a terrifying scene while picking up a balloon. Not far away, a large German shepherd was staring at her intently. Just as she was about to get up and leave, the dog's owner, who was distracted by his phone, suddenly let go of the leash. The German shepherd charged at her like a mad animal. The little girl was so frightened that she burst into tears. Her cries caught the attention of a stray dog nearby. Without hesitation, the stray dog sprinted over and positioned itself directly between the little girl and the aggressive dog, preventing it from coming any closer. This gave the mother a chance to carry her daughter to safety. The aggressive dog's owner finally noticed what was happening and rushed over. Everyone thought he would restrain his own dog, but instead, he picked up a nearby stick and began beating the stray dog. The onlookers were stunned by this scene and started filming with their phones. Yet not a single person stepped forward to intervene. The bystanders had become silent accomplices. Finally, a man nearby couldn't stand it anymore. He stepped forward to stop the young owner, saying, "Didn't you see this little dog was saving the child?" Only then did the stray dog limp away from the scene. The stray dog had sacrificed one of its legs to help a little girl, but was met with nothing but the cold indifference of onlookers. When the video was posted online, it sparked outrage. The little dog that had saved the girl disappeared after being severely beaten by the large dog's owner, and no one knew whether it was dead or alive. A kind-hearted netizen who saw the video left a comment saying they recognized this dog. Back when they were still in school, they had photographed the dog's silhouette at the dock. When they graduated, the little dog was still sitting at the dock, as if waiting for its owner. It turned out that Ding Dang wasn't actually a stray dog, but a search and rescue dog with many accomplishments. This dock was also the place where it first parted from its owner. When the owner had come to the training base to select a search and rescue dog, all the other dogs were very lively, but this one alone hid in the corner and refused to come out. After inquiry, they learned that its mother had unfortunately died during a mission. The puppy had been so grief-stricken that it hadn't eaten for several days, but when the owner tentatively offered some food, the dog surprisingly began to eat. From then on, the puppy only recognized this owner. Seeing that the dog was particularly fond of the bell in the car, the owner named it Ding Dong. However, the owner had to abandon it halfway through their journey. His grandmother had fallen ill, and he had no choice but to return home to visit her. Ding Dong had just emerged from the shadow of its mother's death, only to face another separation. It reluctantly followed behind its owner, watching his departing figure. Ding Dong also etched this dock, the place of their first separation, into its heart. From then on, Ding Dong proved through its actions that the owner's choice had been correct. It was not only intelligent but also very smart, always able to precisely locate targets during training. Soon, they welcomed their first mission. An 8.0 magnitude earthquake had occurred here. When they arrived, the scene was already a field of ruins. Ding Dang fearlessly searched for survivors and quickly discovered a target, an elderly man trapped under the debris. The old man thanked the rescue workers, but they told him it was Ding Dong who had found him. Upon hearing this, the old man felt ashamed. He choked up and kept apologizing to Ding Dong. Ironically, Ding Dong was sitting on a sign from a dog meat restaurant. Just as they pulled the old man up, an aftershock struck. In the chaos, Ding Dong ran up the stairs seeking an escape route, but the stairway suddenly collapsed. The owner rushed over to save Ding Dong, but an accident still occurred. When the owner woke up again, he was in the hospital. He had miraculously survived, but his leg was severely injured. Ding Dong looked at the owner with guilt, feeling that it had caused all this trouble. Although the owner didn't blame Ding Dong, he still shed tears of pain. Due to the severity of his injuries, he was no longer suitable to continue serving as a soldier. His superiors arranged for him to be discharged early. He knew that the last act of love he could give Ding Dong was to let it go to someone better. But he didn't know that a dog recognizes only one owner for life. No matter how hard his comrades pulled the leash, Ding Dong refused to go over. Seeing Ding Dong staring at him continuously, the owner knew that if he didn't leave now, he truly wouldn't be able to bear leaving. So he hardened his heart and got into the car under Ding Dong's gaze. Seeing this, Ding Dong panicked instantly, rushing to the car window and begging its owner not to leave. But a dog couldn't change anything. Watching the owner about to drive away, Ding Dong broke free from the restraints and desperately chased after the car. It didn't understand why its mother never came back that day, and now the owner who had given it security again was also leaving. The driver, seeing the dog's pitiful state, asked if they should stop the car, but Yang Shi just closed his eyes tightly and shook his head vigorously, not even having the courage to look back once. Finally, when Ding Dong's strength gave out, it reluctantly stopped chasing. From that day on, Ding Dong lost its spirit, lying on the grass every day missing its owner. One day, it suddenly found an orange on the ground. It turned out that a produce supplier had come to deliver fruits and vegetables. Ding Dong suddenly remembered that his owner's hometown was famous for producing oranges. So it jumped onto the truck when no one was looking and ran away. It came to this strange city and searched everywhere for traces of its owner, but found no clues. Unexpectedly, at night it encountered two dog dealers and had to flee quickly. Unfamiliar with the roads, it was still cornered in a small alley and captured by the two men, who brought it back to a dog meat restaurant. The place was full of captured stray dogs. Seeing the blood flowing on the ground, Ding Dong seemed to realize something. Just like that, Ding Dong was dragged to the back kitchen by the two men. At this critical moment, the man was suddenly called over. The person calling was his father, the same elderly man who had been rescued from the earthquake months ago. Since then, He had been doing protection work for stray dogs. He didn't know his son was still selling dog meat. He then renamed the dog meat restaurant to a chicken soup restaurant. Through the old man's introduction, Ding Dang was adopted by dog lovers. When the car passed by a square, Ding Dang suddenly started barking loudly. It turned out this square was the place where the owner had stopped to buy water on the day he adopted it. The dog lover thought the dog needed to relieve itself and wanted to get out. But when the car door opened, Ding Dang quickly jumped out and ran toward the distance without looking back. Ding Dang came to the dock and stopped. This was the place where it first separated from its owner. From that day on, it sat at the dock waiting, refusing to leave even as night fell. When hungry, it would find scraps in garbage piles. When thirsty, it would drink puddle water from the road. Its lonely waiting silhouette was captured by a college student. This wait lasted 3 years, from the drizzling early spring to the snowy winter, until that college student had graduated and started working, yet still saw Ding Dong sitting there. Until that day when it saw a vicious dog about to attack a little girl. It still remembered its mission as a search and rescue dog to save people and immediately stepped forward. But then the scene from the beginning occurred. It was nearly beaten to death by the vicious dog's owner. Only when a kind-hearted man stepped forward did Ding Dong find a chance to leave. The video posted online sparked heated discussion. The owner also saw Ding Dong's silhouette on his phone, but he refused to believe it was his Ding Dong. To confirm, he called his comrades and learned that Ding Dong had been missing for 3 years, and they didn't know its whereabouts. After hanging up, he quickly asked netizens about the video's location, and found the dock based on the information provided. After inquiry, he confirmed it was indeed his Ding Dong. A passerby told him the little dog had been sitting at the dock for years, not knowing who it was waiting for. He searched everywhere for Ding Dong, but found nothing after a whole day. It turned out Ding Dong had been rescued by a father and son. Seeing its injuries were too severe, the man planned to take it to a pet hospital for treatment. But on a stairway, they encountered the owner, though neither noticed the other. Ding Dong might have caught its owner's scent. Seeing that familiar silhouette, it could no longer contain its longing. The next second, despite its pain, it jumped down and limped toward its owner. But the owner was completely unaware. He started his car and left, leaving only Ding Dong chasing behind. Although its injuries hurt, Ding Dong didn't give up because it wanted to tell its owner that it wanted to stay by his side forever. Then it found the familiar orange and finally saw its owner. Once a dog recognizes its owner, it will follow them for life.